to get free information from Dr. Kent Hovind. That's free. To sort of back up everything he's saying, it's a toll-free number, 1-877-479-DINO, D-I-N-O. 1-877-479-DINO, D-I-N-O. We'll get you the website here in a moment. Would you like to feel 10 years younger in 10 weeks? Now there's proof. The effects of aging can be slowed down and even reversed with HGH, human growth hormone. For some time now, you've heard me talk about the incredible age-reversing benefits of HGH. Well, according to thousands of articles, higher HGH levels can help you look and feel younger. That's why I take Ultimate HGH, a natural formula to help boost my body's own production of HGH. If your goal is to help improve energy, stamina, lose unwanted fat, diminish wrinkles, enhance memory, immune function, and vision, then Ultimate HGH is for you too. Why let Mother Nature get the best of you? Call today and order Ultimate HGH. And when you order 2 bottles of Ultimate HGH, you get the third absolutely free, about $33 a month. Now that's a tremendous savings off the typical $100 a month for comparable products. Plus, with your order, you'll receive a free book on HGH, a $20 value, absolutely free. So, call my good friends at Great American Products and order Ultimate HGH today at 1-800-557-4627. That's 1-800-557-4627. 1-800-557-4627.
People do it every day.
I can play.
I can cope.
I can listen.
They do the simple, everyday things that can do the most to keep a kid off drugs. It's a fact. Kids who have something to do are less likely to do drugs. So if you can spare an hour or two,
you can keep a kid off drugs.
To find out about community drug prevention groups, call toll-free 1-877-KIDS-313. 1-877-KIDS-313. A public service message from the Office of National Drug Control Policy and the Ad Council.
If you qualify for the Earned Income Tax Credit? Well, if you have kids, you should find out. Because it's for people who earn around $32,000 or less, have kids, and meet some other rules. If you qualify, you could pay less tax, no tax, or even get a refund. To find out if you qualify, visit the IRS website at www.irs.gov or ask your tax preparer about it. A message from the Internal Revenue Service, working to put service first.
Unfortunately, our nostril guy is lost. I don't know what happened to him during the break, but Dr. Kevin, on his behalf, Peter in San Diego simply asks, and that boat was how long again?
Well, it was 300 cubits. That depends on how long a cubit is. Somewhere around 500 feet. 500 feet, all right.
Well, so Peter would like to know, how in the world could Noah shovel all that poop overboard by himself?
Well, that's a good question. We need a bigger picture we need to look at here. Questions about Noah's Ark does not constitute proof for evolution that we all came from a rock. And the burden of proof is not on me to prove the flood story happened. I'm not asking for this to be taught at taxpayer expense in the school system. The burden of proof is on those who want their evolution theory taught at taxpayer expense. You know, I cannot prove.
So then are you sort of stepping back from the whole Noah?
No. I believe it is true. I'm just pointing out we need to keep this in perspective. That if somebody raises a question about Noah's Ark, they kind of walk away thinking, oh, wow, well, you can't answer that question, therefore that proves we came from a rock 4.6 billion years ago.
Well, yeah, but you're the guy with the $250,000 up in the air there.
Well, my $250,000 is for evidence for evolution, which he's not offering. He's offering questions about Noah's Ark.
Right.
That's quite the opposite. There are 270 surviving flood legends today. Cultures all over the world talk about a family saved in a boat full of animals. Why so many flood legends? As far as all the details, I don't know. I'm going to ask the Lord when I get to heaven to see the video, of how this happened. But if you get a boat 500 feet long and you take babies and you only have 8,000 basic kinds of animals, after the flood, maybe babies is the wrong word, take young ones. Okay?
Do you think God will have a video?
Probably a DVD.
Yeah, at least.
Yeah, okay. And so since the flood, there's been a lot of variations within the kinds of animals, long hair, short hair, adapting to hot weather and cold weather, etc. But it's still the same kind. So I would like to meet the guy who's deciding when we have a new species. Who makes this call? I had a scientist in Indiana. I was in a debate, and he said, we've created a new species of soybean plant in the laboratory that's resistant to frost. I said, well, that'll be handy, but what did you start with? He said, well, we started with a soybean plant. I said, what do you have now? He said, we have a soybean plant, but it's resistant to frost, a new species. Okay, it's the same kind of plant. It's the soybean plant.
Mm-hmm. All right. What about this? And just as a kind of a general comment from somebody with your belief system, I'm very curious what you think about where we're headed very quickly now, which of course is to cloning. Very soon a human being, if not already, but from cloning we will move to genetic manipulation of human beings and superhumans, and we would then become, by science, the architects of our own evolution. You thought any about that?
Well, yes, I don't think as far as becoming superhuman that's going to happen. What we've seen, I think cloning certainly has been done, and I suspect with humans. With Dolly, for instance, it took them 277 failures to get one to work. It cost them $50,000.
Right.
I told him, man, the sheep can do this much quicker and cheaper than you guys are doing it.
Well, I know, but first efforts are always very expensive.
Oh, yeah, sure.
The point is, though, we've done the genome thing already, and we're going to get to the point where we can manipulate genetics, and then we can indeed modify the human creature.
Well, there's the telomeres at the end of the DNA are unwinding continually throughout your life. It's part of the aging process.
That's correct, yeah.
Kind of like split ends.
Yep.
And so Dolly, they started with a 4-year-old chromosome pool, bundle from the center of the cell.
Oh, I know what went wrong with Dolly, but that doesn't invalidate where it's going to go anyway.
Well, Dolly is aging faster than normal.
I know.
I think they're going to find with this cloning that they're not going to get not a lot of bang for the buck. I'm not against genetic research at all. I taught biology and love the subject, but I think that it's more smoke than fire right now. If intelligent scientists are able to do gene splicing and stuff like that, I'm a little nervous that we don't know near enough about this to know what we're talking about. You know, I mean, to like you were talking about with these guys with the HARP technology. Oh yeah. We might be creating a much bigger problem than we can handle.
I don't dispute that at all. I see it as something we're going to pursue. Yeah, and we apparently are going to get there, and we may create monsters. I don't deny that for a second. I'm sure we'll get a lot of monsters for every improvement, but eventually man may be able to control his own evolution. And I wonder how that strikes you, as possible or just simply not going to ever happen.
Well, as far as becoming a superhuman, first of all, there has been no evolution of humans other than downward. We've not seen any improvement. We've seen dietary and sanitary improvements in the last 500 years that have caused people to live longer and grow bigger, but there's no genetic change. You know, a big Great Dane is still a dog.
Yes, but I'm saying that by our own hand, we may get to that genetic change.
Well, that's all hypothetical, and even then, that would be with intelligent input. That's not happening by itself in nature.
Well, that's true, but it still could be an entire evolutionary leap. It would be by our own intelligence, yes, but it would be an evolutionary leap.
Well, I think you got the wrong definition of evolution. If you look at, for instance, cows, there's been enormous research in genetic, work with cattle to get bigger cows or more milk or more beef or whatever,
Yes.
But any farmer will tell you the more you get of one particular trait, the more problems you get in other areas. You start to lose with disease resistance, and it's the same thing with Dolly. They didn't gain much. Cost a lot of money. And
you're saying you think ultimately this research may well be a dead end, that there will be more downside to it than up.
Right. I don't think they're going to improve the human. There won't be any genetic changes that are inheritable as far as...
Boy, you should hear some of the scientists...
they're looking for government funding. That's why they make these big claims.
They are looking for it.
Got their hand out. That's why.
They absolutely do. Wildcard Line, you're on the air with Dr. Kent Hovind. Hello.
Hi, Art and Dr. Hovind. This is Matt from L.A.
Yes, sir.
I'm listening on KFI AM 640.
Monster down there, yes.
Yeah. Dr. Hovind, I wanted to talk to you about the idea that I think is what comes from the Bible, that your God is all good and all-knowing and all-powerful.
Okay.
Is that something the Bible says?
I think that would be true. There's some God is good, but our understanding of what may be good, what may be bad, may be different. A lot of times God gets blamed for things that he didn't do. If you get drunk and go home and beat your wife, that's not God's fault.
Right.
There's a lot of suffering in the world that, God gets blamed for, or Satan gets blamed for, and neither one did it. The people did it,
Yeah, I'm not too schooled in the Bible, but I somehow that saying stuck in my head, those three things, all good, all-knowing, and all-powerful.
I'll agree that God is all good, all-knowing, and all-powerful. That does not preclude, though, him giving man a free choice and letting man